Hello Frag fans, welcome back to the channel. I'm Miles and this is Aromas by Miles. We've got a good one for you today. We're going to do a Magnificent 7. Bum, 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 bum. You guys know that drill. Magnificent 7 on some date night fragrances. These fragrances are bold. Some of them are expensive, some of them are affordable, but it's going to give you a range of what you might want to wear with that special woman out there, I guess, or man, depending on if you're a man or a woman, and what you might get out of it. So if that sounds good, stay with me. Let's get started. Bum 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 bum. All right, fans, the first one I've got for you is not a church incense version of a kind of a sacred wood. This is Palo Santo by Carner Barcelona. It's turned into kind of a warm, rum, creamy woods, kind of a quiet meditation. But there's sweetness there. It's never childish. There's a warmth here that it doesn't become too heavy-handed. It opens with rum, aromatic bitterness, and then it moves into that creamy heart with some milk, gaiac wood, a little bit of tonka. You know, by the dry down, you've got vanilla, sandalwood, and then the vetiver starts to creep in and give it a little bit of a soft warmth. I think it feels intimate. I think it's a little mysterious too. And it's, you know, quietly luxurious. You're not going to see this too often out there. And I think your date or your significant other or whoever it is going to really like that rum and artemisia that comes up in the opening. And like I say, then it goes down to milk and that gaiac wood, a little bit of tonka bean in it. And it finishes off with a vanilla and sandalwood vetiver kind of combination that I think just sends it over the edge. You know, the main impression of it is that warm rum. I can never hold this thing right. Creamy woods, a little bit of soft milk in it, like the tonka, and then it, like I said, it finishes up in that dry down. I think this is softer and creamier than some of the other boozy sandalwood fragrances out there. But I think you need to get your nose on it and, yeah, the vetiver and the sandalwood kick up really quick. It's got some comfort to it. You might associate it with maybe Mesa Margiela's by the fireplace, but it doesn't have that burnt sugar effect. And it's got a calming kind of woody sweetness to it that niche sandalwood fragrance that kind of combines with the rum and the creamy texture. Performance-wise, you know, it's moderate. You're going to get pretty good projection, and then the scent bubble is kind of nice at the first, and then it trails off a little bit. Longevity is solid. It's not great. Those woods and vanilla last well into the dry down. You expect around 7 hours maybe wearing, depending on whether you hit the skin or the clothes, and then it always depends on the weather. This is a date night fragrance. You could use it if you don't want to just relax at home. Dinner parties, you're not going to scare anybody off with it. You know, when you want to smell warm, kind of thoughtful, and a little bit different, this would be a great one to put in. It's a fall winter kind of scent, I think, but I think you're going to get away with it in the cool evenings. It's a little bit warmer here, and certainly in the United States, it's warm as shit. So it's probably not something you're going to pull out first when you got a good date night thing working. But it's a good compliment puller because it's unique. It's Palo Santo means sacred wood. In many cultures, you know, this wood's associated with, you know, cleansing and rituals and calming energy and all that stuff. Buy it if you want a warm woody fragrance that is a little creamier and boozier than some of the others, and I think you're going to be real happy with it. So that's Palo Santo by Carner Barcelona. All right, the next one on this Magnificent 7 is a heavy hitter for sure, and that's Creed's Green Irish Tweed. I mean, you know, it smells elegant, really before elegance was even, you know, a statement. It's crisp, it's clean, it's green without smelling too much like one of those Saturday afternoon lawn services. It's probably the most recognizable green fragrance out there, I would say, ever made. It's a classic gentleman's kind of image for the warmer weather, but it's, you know, it still feels really wearable. The opening's bright and green with peppermint, a little bit of verbena. Yeah, I think there's some lemon in it, and certainly bergamot and galbanum. The heart notes, you've got geranium, lavender, a little bit of violet, and then the base settles into that sandalwood, that cedarwood. It's got a little bit of ambroxan in it, and then it hits the oak moss. It results in a fresh, kind of refined, little, I don't know, quietly confident, if that makes any sense. Let's get this baby on the strip. This is a beautiful scent to wear. Where's the Hootis? There we go. This is a fantastic scent to wear this time of the year. It's expensive, but it's quality, you know, Creed, the blending and the ingredients are incredible. You know, Creed doesn't hold back, you know, that peppermint pops out, the bergamot. You know, it's one of those that you can wear, you can really wear it all year round. It's got a little bit of lavender and some violet in it. But it's one of those that I think you're going to be really happy with if you don't have much experience with it. Excuse me, the main impression is just, you know, green freshness, clean herbs and that soft florals. The woods and the moss kind of make a cool, green, elegant scent that, you know, I think you're going to be super, super happy with. You know, sometimes it's compared to Davidoff's Cool Water, which is a whole different price point, because they share some of that green masculine character, but Green Irish Tweed feels a lot smoother to me, more dressed up, more refined. It's got moderate projection, but it's an elegant projection for the first hour and a half, 2 hours. It's gonna kick out there. It makes itself known without being too aggressive. Longevity is not great, six hours probably. And it's an expensive one to keep reapplying, but hey, it's luxury. So, you know, you get that push out there for 5 or 6 hours and then you have to reapply. I think the dry down's a little smoother and woodier than some of the other fragrances out there. This one you can wear to the office. It's a daytime social event kind of a fragrance. I think you could wear it on a plane. It's pretty polished. Spring, summer, early fall maybe, it's not going to handle the really cold weather. It's a fresh daytime scent, and it's a high compliment puller. This kind of fragrance is clean and approachable, and I think that if you get into that smell range of other people, you're gonna pull some compliments from it. Masculine, it's a balanced fragrance. I think you're gonna really like it. If you really want a timeless, you know, fresh green kind of fragrance with some sophistication that's clean, definitely try Green Irish Tweed from Creed. The next one is near and dear to my heart. This is Diaghilev by Roja, which is one of my favorite fragrances in the whole world. It's also my probably most expensive one in my collection. But Diaghilev doesn't smell like a fragrance you casually put on when you just want to go run some errands. It's a heavy-hitting sheeper that smells like the opening night at an opera. It smells like velvet curtains and polished wood. Definitely old money, and you know, it's drama. Its perfume is just drama. Diaghilev is one of the most complex kind of theatrical fragrances in the Roja universe. It's a fruity sheeper that's built with citrus, some florals, a little bit of fruit, some spice. There's moss and leather in it too, and all kinds of animalic kind of tones to it. Opening is bright and classical, and in the heart it's got that lush, floral, opulent kind of a mid, and then it drops down into the base with some mossy, leathery, you know, resinous kind of. It's a vintage kind of a thing. This isn't a casual perfume. It's a statement of taste, confidence, and appreciation of the old world perfumery. You know, it's got a shit ton of notes: the lemon, bergamot, lime, orange. You know, this sheeper is a heavy hitter. You know, it's got rose, jasmine in the mids, tuberose, blah blah blah, violet. You know, you could go on and on. It's just so complex. And then you get to the dry down. You've got clove, some cumin, a little bit of nutmeg, and then finishes off maybe with some patchouli. I get a little bit of vetiver out of it, and there's again 15 or 20 more notes to it. So I'm not going to talk and name each one of these 5 million notes that you get out of it, but I can tell you that this sheeper is one that is just freaking incredible. Again, one of my most favorite fragrances in the whole world. This is a date night fragrance. It's really going to impress people. And, you know, the main impression is that huge fruity floral sheeper with moss and leather and a little bit of spice. Citrus opening gives you a lift and some brightness, and then you push into that peach, and there's black currant with with a little bit of rose and jasmine, and that brings it into that fruitiness, and then, excuse me, kind of messes up the floral piece of it. Oak moss, leather, there's some civet, blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's a million notes to it. I'm not gonna, like I say, I'm not gonna read them all, but you think of the classic French seepers like Mitsuko, but I think it's amplified by Roja's luxury, and it's a drama. It's a drama, a vintage perfume that's available now that I think, the only thing that's bad about it is cost prohibitive. It's so expensive. But try and get your nose on it. Diaghilev's not trying to sell a modern a smell in any way. It's trying to sell a smell that's really important. And I think it succeeds. Projection's great, longevity's great. This fragrance can dominate though if you overspray it. This is definitely a date night, pardon me. A late night, expect 10 hours at least in longevity. Projection is excellent. This is a more formal kind of a fragrance. Wear it to galas, black tie dinners, or that, special date night sort of a thing. Seasons, it's going to be fall, winter mainly. Maybe some cool spring evenings, indoor kind of events. It's a major compliment puller, but it's not for everyone. So it's not built for universal approval, so you're probably not going to get that. It's built for presence and admiration and respect. It's founded by the Diaghilev is Sergei Diaghilev, who was the founder of the Russian ballet, if you're interested in that little bit of history. And that reference matters because the fragrance kind of has its own choreographed little style to it. It's a vintage style chypre. I'm not going to spray it because it's $5 a spray, but this is Roja's Diaghilev. Get your nose on it, see what you think about it, and if you can afford it, add it to your collection. All right, the next one I've got for you is full of controversy, and it's Dior Homme Parfum. And I think this kind of smells like a tuxedo made maybe from leather and iris or something like that. It's smooth, it's dark, elegant without being too aggressive and too in your face. It's not casually clean masculinity. It's more a formal, intimate kind of a serious fragrance. And there's tons of controversy about the 2014 edition, the 2020 edition, and how could we do this? But the fact is, the newer one, this one, Dior Homme Parfum, is still rich and dressed up expression of the Dior Homme idea. It's, it's not the other ones, but I've only smelled those. I don't own them. But I can tell you this is a great fragrance. It's built around iris, orange, leather. It's got some sandalwood, a little bit of ambrette and oud in it. And then it's got that iris in there that gives it that powdery elegance. I think the leather's got some depth to it, and the woods make it, the dried in a little more intense and refined. I think it's one of the best designer fragrances out there. It's a luxury evening scent, I think, for men, which I really, really like. You can go on with that battle, and we're not going to fight that battle here. But the base notes of sandalwood, agarwood, a little bit of ambrette, really kick it up a notch. The main impression is that powdery iris that's wrapped around that smooth leather. Gives you some warm woods, soft rose, a little bit of dark, ambery depth to it. I like the orange in it. I think that orange pops out pretty solid, and that iris is really the signature scent, the signature ingredient of the Dior Homme fragrances in general. The oud and the cedar provide a structure that, I guess without turning the fragrance into some loud, heavy oud scent, it's more of a formal scent. Honestly, it's not a summer scent, but it's a fantastic date night scent. And you can compare it with a lot of other designer fragrances. I think it feels far more niche in character than a lot of the other ones. It's just sophisticated luxury with an iris, kind of an iris-forward masculinity, I think, that really works well. Projection, strong in the early stages, first couple of hours. It's got good longevity. I think you're going to get 8 hours, depending on, where you spray it on your skin, how many sprays, and if you catch some of your clothes. You really don't need a heavy application of this. 2 or 3 sprays, I think, at least in my experience, has been plenty. And this is a formal, more date night, serious date night kind of scent. I think you could wear it to luxury hotels or any kind of event that might require a black tie or a nice suit, something like that. It's not a gym scent or a beach scent or anything like that, but we all know that. I mean, that's a Dior Homme Parfum for you. It's I think it's a superb fragrance. I would highly recommend you take a look at this one and get it in your rotation if you can. You know, it's a fall scent, winter scent. Maybe cool spring evenings. That's probably stretching it a little bit, but it's a formal kind of a scent that's got a high compliment factor to it. So powdery elegance, man. Take a look at this one. Oh, how about that side? Take a look at this one. Dior Homme Parfum. You should buy it if you want a great iris forward fragrance. Give it a shot. So the next one I have for you is a house that I've really come to love, and this is Ormond Jain. And this one is Mon Tabaco. It's a tobacco-forward kind of fragrance without that, whatever you call it, that's niche. It's not a cigar lounge. It's airy, it's elegant, it's smooth suede, tea, spice, a little bit of open space to it. I've been exploring Ormond Jain for the last few months, and they've got some fantastic fragrances and probably the best atomizers in the whole game. This is just a fantastic fragrance. It may seem a little bit weird to put it on a date night list, but I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised at the reaction you get. And this isn't, you know, this fragrance doesn't smell like smoke filling the room or anything like that. It's this Ormond Jain is probably the most refined tobacco fragrances for people who don't want that heavy sweetness. It opens up with like mountain air, a little bit of green stuff, clary sage is in there, some bergamot, cardamom, a little bit of orange. And then the heart notes there's some tea in it, some hedione, and that's where you get that magnolia and rose that kind of push it away from the sweetness part. Base has got Isoi Super, what else is in here? Some ambergris, a little bit of sandalwood and moss and tonka to sweeten it up just a little bit. The result's an elegant, breezy, sensual kind of understated fragrance. I think if you're going to wear this on date night, I think you're going to find you're going to get some pretty good reactions. And maybe it's because it's got that tea and violet in the mids that bring it over a little bit to it's not a feminine scent at all, but it softens it up. You know, it's not like some of those heavy-duty, hard-hitting tobacco fragrances that you get. The main impression is that, you know, airy tobacco leaf with some tea and suede in it, but this fragrance has got some quiet kind of charisma. And I think you could compare it to maybe Tom Ford's maybe Grey Vetiver. I mean, it's that kind of elegant. Look at that sprayer. Oh, it's just fun to spray. No, it's a beautiful scent. It dries down and gets close to the skin, so that Isoi Super keeps it going pretty well. It's not a dessert tobacco, so it's not that super heavy longevity. Actually, the longevity is pretty good, but it doesn't push out and get in your face. Like I said, the longevity is pretty good, about 7 to 8 hours. That's because of the Isoi Super and the ambergris in there. The dry down is probably the most elegant part of the fragrance. Where are you going to wear it? Upscale lunches, business travel. I think you could wear it on an airplane. Any kind of refined, casual dinners, you could wear it. Or you could hit it hard with a date night, because this is what this is about, right? Date night. Wear it when you want a tobacco fragrance. It still feels clean and breathable. It's an excellent mature solo travel kind of a fragrance. I would wear it in the spring and the fall, maybe midsummer evenings, cool, dry weather. I think it's great. You're going to get some compliments from it because it's a different kind of fragrance altogether, a different kind of tobacco. And I think it's going to be well received. So that's Montabac by Ormond Jain. All right, in my sixth spot here, and again, this isn't a ranked list, but this is a hidden gem for sure. This is Rag & Bone's Amber. And Rag & Bone, this amber smells like the lights are low, and before anyone says the evening's even started, the lights go down, and there's rum at the door, cognac in the glass, and kind of a plum in the shadows. It's an amber that's just extraordinary, and this is one of I think the best date night fragrances you're going to have. This amber is boozy and fragrant. It's got a dark, kind of seductive character to it. It opens with rum, saffron, bergamot. The heart, it's got that cognac that pops out, oud, and a little bit of plum that kind of rounds off the edges. And then it finishes up with tobacco and vanilla in the dry down. The results are warm, sweet, resinous, slightly smoky. It's very evening appropriate. You know, I think you're going to be really happy with this on a date night. This fragrance feels, I think, more niche than many of the designer brands. Rag & Bone is a clothing company, which most of you know. And I've heard that this, a couple of times, that this is discontinued. But I just popped into a Rag & Bone store last week, and they had plenty of bottles on the shelf. So it may be discontinued, but it's still out there. Okay, so the main impression, I would say, boozy rum, cognac, dark plum. It's got a little bit of saffron spice in it. And then you've got that amber resin that's prominent. But then it smooths out into that tobacco and a little bit of oud, some vanilla in it. But the rum is the uplifting thing, and I love boozy fragrances, so I would definitely want you to give this a try. Again, it's hard to find. You got to go to I don't know if you can get it online or not, because I've been able to get it at a Rag & Bone store. That Rag & Bone stores aren't that popular, but I think you can still find it. So, you know, it feels like a hidden gem for lovers of boozy amber fragrances to me. If I was going to compare it to something, I'd probably compare it to Side Effect by Initio, but I think it's more fashion-forward kind of amber. And, you know, compared to many mainstream ambers, this one's darker and a little more seductive. It's got a pretty strong opening. Longevity's pretty good, about 8 hours. And then it kind of smooths down into more of a skin scent. It gets warmer, smoother, a little more resinous in the dry down. Tobacco and vanilla linger nicely, especially if you get it on your clothes. So this is a date night fragrance for sure. Wear it to cocktail bars, lounges, fall dinners, anywhere that you want to set up an intimate kind of a skin scent with a little bit of the dry down, and it's not going to run anybody off. So you could wear it, I think, in the office, but you just have to watch your sprays. Good evening, you know, early evening fragrance, especially when, you know, when you got that special one with you. Compliment factor's high, especially, but it's close encounters. So this kind of skin scent, this kind of scent is noticeable definitely when you lean in. So that's Rag & Bone's Amber. But again, it's a fashion house, but take a look at this one, see if you can get your nose on it. I'm not sure if it's discontinued or not, but it's a real banger. Okay, the last one I have for you is probably going to surprise a whole lot of you. It did me. And this is Teriyaki Intense by Lattafa. This is a super affordable fragrance. It smells intense like a dessert, and you know, like dessert and danger meet in the same room. It's sweet, spicy, a little bit boozy, but it's this affordable intensity with a designer perfume's kind of blueprint on it, or fingerprint, if you will. Excuse me. You know, the Lattafa fragrances are all affordable, but this Teriyaki Intense is a original kind of spicy fragrance built around saffrons and bergamot, plum. There's a little bit of booze in it, cinnamon, amber, tonka, and benzoin. But the thing about this one is it was created by the famous Quinton Biche, which immediately makes it more interesting for a fragrance collector, but for just a general user, this is a real banger, hidden gem. The opening brings saffron brightness with a little bit of a touch of bergamot, and the heart notes, it goes into that plum and a little bit of cinnamon, which I love cinnamon in fragrances. Base is that warm, resinous, kind of sweet, ambery note. I've worn this a ton over the last few weeks. It holds up well in the heat. Again, not the Texas, blistering summer heat, but it's got that saffron and boozy plum in it that I think is just fantastic. It's easy to wear, it's versatile, it's got a little bit of sweetness, and I think it's a real compliment puller. I'm not sure what I'd even compare it to out there, but Quinton Biche does an amazing job with these things, and the performance and projection are pretty good. You're going to get 7 or 8 hours out of it, I think, with a strong projection. When to wear it, where to wear it, I mean, that's all up to you, but I think you can wear it in the warmer weather. it may be too dense to wear in the really hot weather. In the cooler weather, it kind of comes alive. So keep that in mind when you're getting to when you're setting up for your date night. If it's a little cooler, this would be the one to go with. You know, I'd say fall, winter gatherings mainly. But this is Lattafa's Teriyaki Intense, and there's another one. I can't remember the name of it now, but it's teriyaki and it's more of a feminine fragrance. So make sure you get the one with the black bottle with the snake on it, and I think you're going to be real happy that you did. So that's my 7 fragrances for this Magnificent 7. I'm glad you joined me. Thanks for showing up. I know you have a choice of who to watch and what to watch with your time, and I appreciate you tuning in on Aromas by Miles. And I'm very pleased that I got to show you these fragrances today. Please like and subscribe. You know it all goes to a nonprofit that is trying to help a lot of people. So everyone be safe out there. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you in the next one.